We often get this question that, hey, we really like the curriculum and teaching at SST, but we are a bit skeptical about the future of our child's career, given that you all don't give traditional B.Tech degrees. In this video, I'm going to explain our thought process so that you can make a more informed decision about your child's career. So let's go. First of all, when we actually started designing SST about 2 years back, we consciously took a call to stay away from B.Tech. Now, why is that? Two reasons. One, the curriculum of B.Tech is not flexible at all and not updated with the latest industry requirements. Second is that the teachers there don't have the right practical skills. Now, the way we wanted to build Scalar School of Technology, which we were very clear about after consulting many industry leaders, is that one, the curriculum has to be cutting edge, it has to be in line with what the industry wants, and it needs to be continuously upgraded. What that means is that if, let's say, Apple Vision Pro has come out, within a month or two, we should be able to start teaching courses on that. And as and when new technologies keep coming out, our curriculum will continuously be upgraded, which is not possible in a B.Tech program. Now, on the teachers' part, 100% of our teachers are industry professionals, and I'm proud to share that we are one of India's only colleges to be able to do this. Recently, one senior leader from Google, Mr. Balaji, had come down to campus, and I asked him the exact same question. Here's what he had to say about it.
Now let's say you're hiring for a fresh grad, right, who has no experience or 1 or 2 years experience. Definitely somebody, the world is changing. Like if you ask me 15 years back, B.Tech from tier 1 college is all that even resumes come to us. Those have changed, right? So it doesn't matter whether what degree.
Why do you think that has changed?
I think more so in terms of how software is being built these days. It's more around people being hands-on, people who can come. And it's true for both startups and more so for startups and for large big tech also, right? So people want to have smart people, problem solving, who can hit the ground running. Then with certificates and degrees.
And a certain sense of entitlement.
Yes, and certain type of entitlement, right? So I think that makes a huge difference, right? Is this something a norm? Like not have all companies come out of that stereotype? Not entirely, and some companies have come out in certain degrees. But large tech in operating in Bangalore, I mean, that's one of the last things that we even say.
I've personally checked like Google listings, Amazon listings, that none of them, it never says B.Tech is something, like it says bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's in science or tech is what this says. And it doesn't matter, right? Like if somebody comes to me and shows me a resume who did really well in interviews, who has this cool project, and I talk to the person and I get the right vibe, degree is perhaps the last thing I will look at.
It's very important to evolve with time. And as you could clearly see earlier, the challenges with B.Tech, because of which the outcomes from B.Tech are not that strong as multiple reports have suggested.
You need a lot of more skilled manpower for AI. You need a lot of skilled manpower for machine learning. And my belief is that much of the curriculum that we've designed is totally outdated and not in sync with the present world if you have to cause disruption. Even much of the curriculum which have been designed in both triple IITs and IITs, I think is totally out of sync, because all curriculums are designed without interacting with industry, without interacting with startups, without realizing the vast and the rapid pace with which they have moved forward. And therefore my belief is that huge amount of work needs to be done. There's another startup called Scalar. I don't know how many of you have heard of Scalar. And what the Scalar has done is to produce skilled manpower within 6 months for what the industry requires.
Now we understand that degrees also play an important role, but to evaluate the right thing to do, there are 3 key outcomes that I want to talk about and discuss each of them one by one. Let's start with the first one, placements. Now, this is the most important one that most people want to go for. Now see, placements is a function of 3 things. One is the profile that the student has. Second is the access to all of these opportunities. And third is the eligibility for these companies. Now let's go into this one by one. If I talk about profile, every SST student will have 1 year of practical experience, a very strong GitHub profile, given that they will be making 50 plus projects in the course, a strong culture on campus of taking part in competitions like ICPC, Google Summer of Code, etc. And also taking part in the innovation lab where they get to build a lot of projects, like, for example, the recent Bhashini project. Now, because of all of this and the curriculum that you have gone through, in case you haven't seen it, I highly recommend go and download the curriculum PDF. You will see that there is a lot of focus on learning by doing, which ensures that students have very, very strong profiles. Now, profile is super important, but you still need access to opportunities. Now, over the years, Scalar has built a huge network of career partners, and the who's who of tech world work with us, right from the top companies like Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and the top startups, unicorns, decacorns in India. Some of these statistics that you see on screen are from our online programs, but we strongly believe that given that we will be studying offline and for 4 years with a very high quality, very, very selective batch, that the outcomes for the offline program will be very, very good. Now, this is the opportunity part of it, access to opportunity, where all of these companies will actually come to campus in an offline setting, which enables our students to get access to these companies. Now, let's speak about the third part, that will SST students meet the basic eligibility criteria for all of these top companies? Now, let me share some job postings of companies like Google. Like you can see here, they say that bachelor's degree is required. It is not written that B.Tech is mandatory here. And this is something that we knew, which is why we went ahead with the structure that we have. You will see that for all of these, it is not mandatory to have a B.Tech. In fact, let me share the hiring process. It's a very skill-based hiring process. Round 1 is that if you clear the problem-solving test, then you go to round 2, which is your profile-based interview round. Here, whatever projects you build, competitions you've taken part, play an important role. Third is the HR round, where your communication skills, how well you can work with other team members, play a huge role. Now, coming back to what we were speaking about earlier, placements. Now, placements, like I said, is a function of profile, access to these opportunities, and eligibility. Now, if you look at all of these three combined in SST, students get all of this, and therefore we strongly believe in getting good outcomes for our student with the structure that we have. And ultimately, this is what we want for our child, right? Success by getting to work with some of the top tech companies in India and the world. All right. The second outcome, which is very important, a lot of people want to become entrepreneurs today, right? Now, for that, we have something called the Innovation Lab. The goal of Innovation Lab is to produce deep tech startups, and multiple things come together here, right? CXO, CTOs from top companies participate in the Innovation Lab by sharing problem statements, by mentoring. There are senior engineers from Scalar who mentor students to build projects. Third is that investors, VCs who are associated with Scalar are also excited by looking at the projects that Innovation Lab is building. So internally, our goal is that how do we enable 10% of our batch to become entrepreneurs so that they become job creators rather than job takers. In fact, here's what Shrikant Verma, who's worked as a senior machine learning scientist at Amazon at a global level, this is what he has to say about entrepreneurship at SST.
The importance of different types of degrees such as B.Tech, BE, BSc, or a BSc plus MS degree can vary depending on individuals' goals and the specific industry that they're interested in. However, it is essential to understand that the primary purpose of a degree is to make the learner skilled and not just well-read. Let me elaborate a little on this. If your aim is to start your own venture, your own startup, the specific type of degree becomes less critical. What truly matters is the knowledge and the skills that you have acquired during your educational journey. Even your friends matter because they often become your startup co-founders. The practical application of what you've learned, your problem-solving abilities, and your capacity to innovate are the key factors that can contribute to your success as an entrepreneur. On the other hand, when it comes to employment in, let's say, services companies, they often require additional training for new hires because traditional degree programs may not provide sufficient practical skills. However, product-based companies like Google, Amazon, etc., which are typically focused on developing and delivering innovative solutions, they tend to prioritize your knowledge and competence in core computer science rather than the degree that you hold. These industry-oriented degrees also enable our graduates to be eligible for all sorts of exams, whether it is GRE, GMAT, CAT, civil services, or any other government exams, and also for further studies both within India and abroad. In conclusion, the specific type of degree you possess at the end of your 4 years of education may not be the most important determining factor for your employers. What truly matters is your knowledge, your skills, your problem-solving abilities, and your ability to solve real-world problems.
Now, for a lot of parents, further studies, flexibility there is super important. Be it like giving a CAT so that they can do an MBA in India, giving a GMAT so that they can do an MBA abroad, giving a GRE for MS abroad, a UPSC for civil services, or an M.Tech in India, or even in some cases, just getting a work visa for migrating abroad. Now, it's important to understand that all students at SST will in parallel pursue a BSc in Computer Science from BITS Pilani, and in the final year, a MS in Computer Science from Wolf University. So net, after successfully completing the SST course, students will graduate with 2 degrees, a BSc and an MS, which enables them to get 16 years of education, which unlocks all of these opportunities, which means that, one, they have flexibility by getting access to all of these latest teaching methods and instructors. At the same time, because they have formal degrees, there is no restriction and they can pursue whatever they want to later. In order to do an M.Tech in India, they will have to choose in the 4th year BSc honors, and that enables them to do an M.Tech in India. I'm sure everyone has heard of BITS Pilani. Now, when it comes to Wolf, I would like you to listen to Mr. Joshua. He's the head of Wolf University and an ex-Oxford professor himself. Here's what he has to say about the Wolf Master's degree with SST.
So just a little bit of background about who I am. I was previously an academic for over a decade. I was on faculty at the University of Oxford. At the University of Oxford, I was on the governing parliament of the university, the congregation, and I also helped with basic administrative issues like deciding who to admit to programs at Oxford and supporting the rollout of new academic programs across Oxford's 38 colleges. So how does an MS degree from Wolf provide an edge to the students at Scalar School of Technology in their careers? Maybe this goes back to credibility and validity. So to be valid is, of course, to be officially recognized, and you're going to be officially recognized as if you graduated from any other major university in Europe or any other higher education institution. Part of the question, I think, is around employment, and so degrees do matter. Skills matter a lot, and you need to have skills to advance in your career and to retain a job. But if you're applying for a job at a very large organization and you want to get to an interview, they might have 150,000 applicants in their applicant tracking system, their ATS, and they don't want to know that you went to a boot camp. And some boot camps are, mastering machine learning. That is not a master's degree in machine learning. Maybe it's a weekend-long program in mastering machine learning. And so there's a big difference between just studying in a program and getting an actual master's degree. And if you're a big company, you just want to see a tick mark next to a real master's degree in the system, and you just want to filter out all the people that don't have it. So I think if you're having to explain why your program really is good, you're losing. And better than explaining is to just have a degree. And it just cuts through all the noise. It has international recognition. And then that comes back to mobility. If you want to go work with Google in Ireland, you're going to get points on your visa for having completed a master's degree, which is recognized in Ireland. And so if you just completed a long boot camp or something like that, you would not get those points on your visa. So, in terms of providing an edge, you have to be persuaded that the curriculum Scalar is providing is relevant to industry and relevant to the career that you want to pursue. And I think generally Scalar School of Technology and Scalar University are world-class in terms of the program that they deliver. And then you want to make sure that that high quality program is recognized in other places, which is Wolf's responsibility. And so that's something we're really committed to doing, and obviously have a track record of material success there.
In conclusion, if you compare SST with traditional education across all parameters like curriculum, instructors, assignment, employability, and the skills that they have, you will see that the SST program actually is more in sync with the needs of today and is an evolution, a step ahead, right? So I hope this information was helpful and you are now able to see our perspective of how we are thinking about the SST program. All the very best to you, and I hope to see you all soon on campus. Thank you.